There's so many great things about yoga. And one of the things is that in just a few minutes, you can work so much of your body. And when you put that work on your body with your mind and with your breath, it's such a complete thing. Having said that, sometimes the thing that you need is the thing that you don't really want to do, and sometimes the thing that you don't want to do, maybe you shouldn't do it. That leads us to doing a bunch of standing poses today, which sometimes I find particularly challenging, especially when they start getting into balance. So let's get right into this. So find yourself, so today a little bit more of standing poses, which for me are often quite challenging. I don't know why. There's balance, there's sort of strength. I always feel like one of my knees is not that great, like it's not as strong as the other. So find a spot at the beginning of your space, at the middle of your space, in the middle of your mat. And one of the things I sort of like to do is sort of ground myself into the floor. And the way that I can do that is I'll put my feet shoulder width apart or so, and I'll raise my toes off the ground and really stabilize the balls of my feet and my heels on the ground. Sort of feel a real connection to the ground there. I might want to raise my knees a little bit. I'm not locking my knees. And then once I've got that sort of good stability, I can put my toes back down and really feel where my feet touch the floor. Have my hands just a little bit facing out. This is a yoga pose. This is your mountain pose. I like to think of it that you're on the edge of a mountain, that you're looking out over this whole world, the Grand Canyon, if you will. And as we just sort of stand here, maybe move around a little bit. This is just before we start anything. See how your body is feeling. Keep your feet grounded. Maybe just move everything else around. Maybe one way you can, like I can always feel that one side's resisting a little bit more. Roll my shoulders to my ears. The interesting thing for me is that I come into this thinking like, oh, do you know what my problem is right now? It's my back. And then I realize actually it's my hips, or I realize it's my legs, or it's my knee, my neck, and my neck's attached to my blah, blah, blah. Anyway. So I'm standing here in this mountain pose, just moving around. See what's resisting and what you're going to help to focus on a little bit. And then start to come to sort of some stillness with some strength. Picture yourself looking over that Grand Canyon. And we're going to inhale through every part of our body. Fill up all those cavities inside of us. Your lungs, yes, but everything's open up like you're drawing in like this great power. Nobody's looking, doesn't matter, right? So draw in this great power in through your nose. And then get rid of everything out through your mouth. And then in through your nose again. And then everything out through your mouth. And one more in through your nose. And everything out through your mouth. All right, that already starts to center me a little bit. It already starts focusing for the rest of this time. Let's just try to breathe in and out only through our nose with that restrained breathing on the back of our throat, sort of like you're fogging up a mirror, but with your mouth closed. And that's your ujjayi breath. Everything's focused. Everything's where we're going to. Let's lift our hands above our head. Stretch as high as you can. Let your spine move up, your hands reach the ceiling, everything starts to activate. Tuck your tailbone just a little bit there so you activate the front of your body. And if there's energy in the world to tap in around, this is where you can be tapping into it. Each inhale, try to get a little bit taller. One last inhale, really tall. And then fall slowly, slowly over to a forward fold. I brought my blocks today. I have 4x4s, just pieces of wood that I use sometimes. You can use um, some good books sometimes. Right now I've got actual great blocks. And I'm going to let myself just relax and let my spine expand. Let my legs go as straight as I can without locking my knees. And every inhale sort of creates some length in my spine. And exhale, I'm able to sort of fall further and further down to the ground where my forehead's going towards my knees. Now interlace your hands behind your back, and we're just going to give a little bit of leverage, a little bit of gravity helping us even more. Relax your neck and allow your hands to just sort of relax and fold yourself even more. Now let your hands fall slowly to the ground. Do a little halfway lift where we put our hands on our shins, make our back flat and parallel to the floor. On an inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now inhale, we're going to spread our legs out a little bit into this Shiva squat, if you will, or goddess squat, or into horse pose. So your feet are pointing out a little bit to the sides. You're sitting down as if you're riding a horse. So your feet are at a 45-degree angle. Your back is nice and straight. You can have your hands above your head like that. Or as I can do in a horse pose, I pretend I'm hugging a huge tree in front of me. And I want to sink down lower into that horse. And a little bit of shaking's okay, but pain is no good. Nice and focused. Nice and straight back. Now on your next inhale, we're going to go into warrior two. So your left leg is going to go forward. Your right foot is going to stay sort of where it is, parallel to the back of your mat. We're going to get a 90-degree angle closer on our front and our hands straight above our head and our shoulders facing forward. Tuck your hips underneath, nice and up to the sky. Your shoulders to the front of the mat, looking out into the distance again. And then your left hand forward, your right hand back. Your feet the same. Tuck your hips underneath still, nice and straight out. A lot of pressure onto your front left leg. That's okay though. And look out over your middle finger if you can. If you want to ease up a little bit, you can stand up a little bit straighter, or else you can sink in even more. Now inhale, stretch back. Your left hand goes on your left thigh, and we're going to reverse back in that warrior. Your hand down as far as you can down your leg. And then we're going to dive forward. A lot of stress on our front leg, and do a little seal version of this forward warrior. I got to come up for just a second. And from here, from that Warrior 2 and then the Seal version, I'm going to use my block and go into a Warrior 3, or at least the prep for it. You might be able to do a full Warrior 3 where my right leg goes up. Oh, or not. The good thing is I don't edit this out, but that's better. My hips at the same height, my back nice and straight. If you can be, you'd be putting your arms straight in front of you. And maybe you can do that gradually in steps. You might have to bend your left leg a little bit. And then join your feet up at the front. And we'll go into a chair pose. So nice sinking down, arms up, reaching the sky. And stand up again. A lot of work on my left leg there. From there, I'm going to put myself back over again. And again, I'll do a forward fold. And this time, my feet are pointed in just a little bit. So a forward straddle fold. And let's preemptively put my blocks over there. And I'm going to do a forward fold here. Let gravity help. Last inhale in. I'm going to do a warrior 1 on this side. So my right leg forward, my left leg back, my shoulders square to the front of my space, my arms above my head, nice and engaged. So engage with my hips, engage with my shoulders, nothing's straining, everything's activated. Now, warrior 2, your right arm forward, your left arm back, nice good stretch in your shoulders, nice and straight right line across. Dig into this right leg if you can. This is my weaker knee, so I know I'm going to take it easy because that warrior 3 that's coming up, it's going to be a little harder for me. So look over my middle finger on my right arm, hand. I'm going to inhale, stretch back for that version of warrior. My hand going down my left leg, and a good twist back. And then forward for a seal version again. Now from here, I've got my blocks already there. I'm going to go up to a warrior 3, a prep version for me, maybe not for you. We're a nice straight back, straight leg, my hips the same height, and my head the same height as my hips, the same height as my heel. And last breath in, I'm going to put my foot beside the other for a chair pose on this side. Hands above my head, really sink into that chair. And then up on your toes if you can. And then into a forward fold. That's just to get everything worked out. Then from here into a relax, I'm going to let my hips sink down and go into a squat, which is a nice relaxation for me. Your back nice and straight. And from here, we'll just sit back. We'll do a reverse tabletop. So push up our hips, engage your butt. Your head can go how you want it to go. Get some good pushing from your pelvis though. Engage all that. And then keep on having your breath nice and slow. One last inhale in. Put your hips down by your front feet. I guess your only feet, by your heels. And really push up. Get your chest into the sun. And then exhale. Sink down as far as you can. Then inhale, push up. And stretch up as far as you can again. Maybe more than me, maybe less than me. It does not matter. I want to feel a good stretch absolutely everywhere. And one last inhale in. And again, we'll sink back as far as you can. Inhale, stretch forward. And as we roll back, grab your feet if you can, or behind you, and let's just relax into this. Here for a second into this happy baby pose. You might want to stretch out each leg. You can roll side to side a little bit, just sort of massaging your lower back. Let the feel of the boat move you back and forth. Now feet straight into the air for a supine version of the staff pose. Nice 90 degrees here. Engaging our belly again. Again, one of those harder poses that looks so easy. Now from here, we're going to fall to our left and get a twist out of this. Your right arm will go back, your legs going straight out beside you. And relax into that twist. One more inhale in. And bring your knees up to your chest. Give a good squeeze to get everything in line again. And put your feet straight back up. I'm going to move over because I'm not going to have enough room. So my feet straight up into that supine version of a staff pose. As much as a 90 degree, everything's good and engaged on my belly. And then I'm going to fall off the shot here and move my legs right over to the side there and fall back looking over my left arm. Inhale, bring your feet back up. I'll shimmy back. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Nice and tight. Let's just go back up for 1 second to that happy baby, because whilst we're in that happy baby pose, take a few moments just to sort of stretch out there, grab behind your quads, and whatever's the most efficient, roll yourself up to a boat pose. Maybe you take a couple of times. Maybe you go too far, like I just did. So your shins can be parallel to the floor. Your back is nice and straight. Your feet are engaged. You've got your whole front is engaged here. Put your hands in front. Just sort of let your elbows go to the side of you for a second, like you're just rowing that boat. Set your feet down and let's roll over our knees to the back. Spread your knees wide apart, your toes almost touching, your hips onto your heels, and into a child's pose. Then inhale up to tabletop for just a couple of cat-cows. So inhale, drop your belly as much as you can, your butt to the air, your head to the air. Exhale, push everything out to cat, shoulder blades apart. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Back to tabletop, just relaxed onto our toes. And we'll just push back onto our feet and stretch the backs of our feet out. And inhale up onto the backs of our feet again. I'm going to grab a block. I'll grab both blocks. And I'm going to go into what's called hero's pose. That's sort of where we're going to end things. You could stay into this thunderbolt pose, which is just kneeling and sitting on your heels, or you can do this variation of this hero's pose where your heels are outside of your knees and you sit back. And because it puts way too much stress on my knees presently to go all the way down, I sit on these blocks and I get a good sort of internal rotation of my hips. And because I'm just elevated a little bit, it's actually really comfortable. But you're going to go into a place that you feel is the most comfortable for you. And from here, we're going to end here, but I will spend a little bit of time kneeling or sitting and just keep on breathing and do a little bit of a meditation. Take a couple of minutes, sit nice and straight with your back, sort of check in with your body, and let's say do 15 breaths where you just focus in on your breath. You just focus in on the sort of energy wave coming from your head, that's coming out from your breath, that's pulling up from the ground. Your hands maybe on your quads. And we'll just relax for a little bit. And we'll see you in the next video. Always talk to your healthcare professional before starting a new regime. If you experience pain, discomfort, or dizziness, slow down or stop. These videos will become easier each day, but if it doesn't feel right today, go slower or move to another video. listen to your body.